Hi guys, my name is Mariana Correa and I'm here to present to you my AIce Media project. For this AIce Media project, I decided to do a magazine. In specific, this is the title of my magazine. It's called Made in Magazine. Here's my blog. I'm going to be using this blog to refer back to on my process and my errors during my critical reflection. Okay, so now before we get started with what exactly my magazine looks like, I want to talk about the inspirations that led me to this creation. So, first off is a documentary called States of Undress, and it's about this woman named Haley Gates who explores the fashion world globally and the issues that the fashion industry often ignores. So what I mean by that is that she travels to different countries and she talks about the conflicts and the corruption going around in the fashion world and in the government and in just the nation in general. And she talks about how this is affecting the fashion industry. For example, she goes to Pakistan and she talks about how religion affects the fashion industry, Congo, Palestine, Russia, Venezuela, etc. So I've watched this documentary before and I thought it was amazing, and that's exactly what I wanted to portray with my magazine. Another inspiration I have is ID Magazine. As you can see, ID Magazine plays a lot of focus on their character and doesn't like focus on wordiness and a lot of cover lines and numbers in order to attract the focus of a person. So that's exactly how I'm trying to attain my audience, through very nice images that are very focused on the character, so they are very intrigued with who that person is and what they have to say. Here are some other examples of ID Magazine. As you can see, very little cover lines, bold masthead, but mostly the focus is on the character. Another magazine that I wanted to talk about that has served as inspiration is another magazine. This one in specific is one of my favorite. The one on the right is one of my favorite images that they have. Yeah, so they also focus a lot on the character rather than a bunch of mass cover lines telling you what's inside the magazine. So they attain their audience by intriguing you with the image. Both of these magazines, for just to let you guys know, are fashion lifestyle magazines which focus on what is going around the world as well as the fashion happening in their country or specific area. So just here's a little sneak of my magazine. So my product challenges and uses both conventions of fashion magazines. First, magazines often generally target the female population and provide them with the guidance on style and a path to shape their image based on what the magazine believes to be on trend. Made in Magazine, on the other hand, suggests that beauty can be found in many different countries and that trends vary between cultures and environments. My magazine, Made in Magazine, here, I believe sends a message of individuality, which many fashion magazines don't portray. See how every person is who they want to be. They are not asked to dress a certain way. These are actually people from real life, not models. My magazine also placed some focus on minority groups, for example, Generation Z, which are often ignored by the fashion industry. Made in Magazine isn't just a fashion magazine, but also targets culture and lifestyle. It shines a light on controversy and issues occurring in the fashion industry, as well as groups and niches that affect changes in trends. However, Made in Magazine does follow some physical conventions required of a fashion magazine. A bold masthead and large cover picture are used to capture the attention of audience. Few cover lines, as you can see, just one, are used to provide focus on the character in the image. Since this edition is focusing on a specific generation who sparked a trend, for example, Generation Z, I wanted the focus to be drawn to the person, this person, me, from Generation Z. Made in Magazine represents groups of people from different backgrounds and cultures. Like I said before, I plan to target males and females. My magazine focuses on issues as well as positive contributions to fashion industry brought to and upon certain racial, age, and gender groups around the world. For example, this specific edition, like I said, is about a specific age group in the United States. And in this case, Generation Z, and how they are stereotyped versus how they really are, and how this generation is affecting the fashion industry nationally and globally. Another thing I wanted to say about my magazine is the title. I chose this title specifically because each magazine is going to be about a different country. This magazine specific is about the United States. Made in stands for the tags in clothing. For example, when you buy a shirt at a store, it says made in somewhere, made in China, made in India, made in the United States. So this specific magazine is about people made in the United States, raised in the United States, people who adapt to the culture of the United States and how they portray their individuality and their culture and where they came from and how they view the world. So here you can see, I'm going to start explaining what my magazine looks like. Here's my cover page. I used this website to make my magazine called Canva, and let me tell you, very user-friendly. I used it to create my whole magazine. Very easy to upload pictures. As you can see, I have here on the side some pictures that I used in my magazine. Very easy to upload text, any element that you want, lines, frames, photos, shapes, anything. I used it a lot to create my magazine. Let me show you a full view of my magazine. Here's the table of contents, and here is my 2-page spread. Now, how I'm going to distribute my magazine. I want my magazine to be distributed through subscription, libraries, and online magazine, because my target audience is very specific, not very specific, but it goes through a specific number of people. It's not a magazine you find at a grocery store. It's more of a magazine that if you want to get it, you go out to get it. So, my magazine will target both men and women of many diverse cultures and backgrounds. It will target people in their early 20s to mid 30s and possibly provoke the interest of people in their late teens. It will be more of a fashion editorial magazine rather than a commercial one, and stories and interviews based on fashion trends in a culture. Only a few editions will be produced per year, one, for example, one per season, and will be distributed by subscription and specific vendors in major cities to reach the market of consumers that will be optimal for this genre presented. So I also took the demographics of ID Magazine, and I kind of used that to shape the demographics of my magazine because they're very similar in what they portray and their style. So I also want to talk about something else I used to create this magazine, and I used Canva, and I also used 1001 fonts, as you can see. A lot of fonts to choose from. These are only a few of the ones I liked. I ended up choosing the third one down to be my my cover page, and I thought that was a great choice. I also used a lot of apps on my phone. For example, I used Visco, Pixlr, Avery to edit my pictures. I used an iPhone X, which has amazing quality. Let me tell you, with that camera, one of the best cameras I've ever used for a phone. And here are some of the images that I took. A lot of these are unedited, so I'm gonna choose one you can see the original quality of the picture. Here's one of my friends sitting at a red chair. Looks super nice. Here, this one I edited. I made the background black and white, and the people in the front pop out. I did the same with my cover page right here. So I can have the clothing like jump out at you since this is a fashion magazine? Well, the process was very hard. I learned a lot through it, and I know at some time I had struggles and I made errors and I procrastinated a lot, but I got through it and I'm proud of myself for being able to do this. I hope you enjoyed my magazine here, Made in Magazine, and thank you for listening. Bye.